Hello and welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Obong Osoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The Abure-led faction of the Labour Party has rejected the Federal High Court judgment recognizing that Adi Usman-led caretaker committee announcing plans to appeal the ruling delivered on Wednesday in Abuja. The party's spokesperson Obiora Ifon said the court misinterpreted the April 4, 2025 Supreme Court judgment, insisting that leadership issues remain internal party affairs beyond judicial appointments. He maintained that the Abure tenure has not expired, citing a prior Court of Appeal decision affirming the Abure-led National Working Committee and denying the existence of any leadership vacuum. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) is set to arraign Senior Advocate of Nigeria Mike Ozekome on Monday, January 26, before an FCTI court in Maitama over alleged fraud links to a London property. According to court documents, Ozekome faces 3 counts bordering on receipts of property suspected to be proceeds of crime, forgery of a Nigerian passport, and the use of false documents to claim ownership of a North London house. The case follows a petition referencing a British tribunal judgment, with the ICPC saying investigation reveals alleged collaboration between forged identity documents and corrupt practices. A federal high court in Abuja has granted 100 million naira bail to Bauchi State Commissioner for Finance Yakubu Adamu and 3 others over alleged $9.7 million terrorism financing. Justice Mohammed Omar ruled that the defendants met the conditions for bail, ordering them to provide senior civil servant sureties, surrender their international passports, and report weekly to the DSS office in Bauchi. The case, which was previously denied bail on national security grounds, has now been adjourned to February 26 for trial. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, (NAFDAC), has commenced enforcement of the ban on alcohol in sachet and PET bottles below 200 milliliters following clearance from the Senate. NAFDAC Director General Professor Moshi Shola Adeyeye announced the move on Wednesday in Lagos, explaining that consultations earlier ordered by the federal government have now been scheduled. She said the enforcement aims to protect public health, particularly children and young adults, noting that small-sized alcohol products fuels drug abuse due to their affordability and concealment. Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has vowed to sign the death warrants of suspects accused of killing Fatima Abubakar and her 6 children if convicted by courts of competent jurisdiction. During a condolence visit, the governor directed the Attorney General to fast-track prosecution and announce welfare support for the bereaved husband, including housing and Hajj sponsorship. He also praised security agency for swift arrest, reaffirming the administration's zero tolerance for violent crimes in Kano State. Transportation remains a major challenge for residents of Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, from inadequate public transport to rising cost of transport fares and safety concerns. Many commuters say moving from one part of the city to another has become increasingly difficult. Global Television correspondent Sadatu Gaba now reports.
For many residents of the Federal Capital Territory, daily movement has become a difficult task, especially for those who rely solely on public transport. Abuja, originally designed as a modern city with an organized transport system, is now grappling with the pressure of a rapid growing population. As more people settle in the city, the demand for efficient transportation continues to rise. Yet, available options remain limited. Commercial buses, taxis, ride-hailing services remain the primary means of movement for most people, but these services are often insufficient, irregular, or unaffordable.
The challenges we face on transportation, mostly sometimes is during the night time, during night. Especially during the rainy season, sometimes we used to have challenges because there's no much car on the road.
The transportation is increasing. And since generation of income have not increased greatly, you will have a whole lot of challenge.
For workers, students, and business owners, many report frequent delays in getting to work, school, or business locations, affecting productivity and daily routines. Another major issue confronting commuters is the high cost of transportation. With rising fuel prices and weak fare regulation, transport charges vary widely, even on the same routes. Many residents say they are forced to spend a significant portion of their income on daily transportation. Safety concerns have also become a source of worry for commuters. Incidents involving unregistered taxi operators and one-chance criminals have made residents cautious, especially women and those commuting at odd hours. Citizens advise that measures such as modern parks and increased monitoring of transport operators would go a long way in improving safety, organization, and efficiency within the transport sector.
The challenges I think about most is, okay, I leave the house very, very early to go to my workplace, and the time I leave the house is quite risky because I leave the house as early as 4 a.m. and then by that time you don't see most cabs on the road. And again, well, I feel like there should be parks everywhere for wherever you're going. There should be parks where you go and you know that this place is safe. Whatever happens to you, they are responsible for it, and you know that.
As the city continues to expand, residents hope that long-term solutions will be implemented to ensure safe, affordable, and reliable movements across the Federal Capital Territory. Saratu Garba, reporting for Global Television.
Kaduna State Governor Oba Sani has assured residents of Kominwali village that all abductees will be rescued following Sunday's kidnapping incident. Speaking during a visit to the community, the governor said the state is working with the military, DSS police, and the Office of the National Security Advisor to secure the victims' return. He also pledged medical support for injured residents and revealed plans to establish a military base in the area to curb banditry. A suicide car bomber has killed 5 Nigerian soldiers after ramming into a military convoy in the Timbuktu triangular area of Borno State. The attack occurred on Wednesday as troops returned from clearance operations, with military sources confirming injuries to senior officers and damage to operational equipment. Operation Hadi Kai said one explosive-laden vehicle was neutralized while troops later uncovered mass graves containing about 20 insurgents earlier killed in earlier encounters. The Ogun State government has halted the Awolaje of Ijebu land selection process, ordering a second suspension amid security deployment at the palace in Ijebu-Ode. Officials said the move was to maintain public order and preserve the integrity of the revered stool following procedural concerns and legal threats. The DSS confirmed that profiling of 95 shortlisted candidates was suspended in compliance with the government's directive. The period between December and January usually comes with haze and dry winds, especially in the northern part of the country. The weather in Abuja at present is characterized by high temperatures, low humidity, dusty and hazy conditions due to Harmattan. The city is currently experiencing mild heat in the afternoons and relative cold in the morning. Zaura Nasi spoke to some Abuja residents on how they are coping with the weather and files in this report.
Weather changes, particularly abrupt shifts between seasons or extreme, unpredictable fluctuations, are well documented to come with significant physical and mental health challenges. These transitions stress the body's immune system, impact respiratory health, and can exacerbate chronic conditions. Abuja residents explain how they feel about the change in weather and how they also take care of themselves to avoid issues relating to the change in the weather condition.
I used to cover myself with my blanket. You know, as a single person, when there is in the morning there is cold, then that early morning around that time 5 o'clock, you have to cover yourself if you have blankets. That's how I take care of myself. As for me,
when the weather change, but I normally go and do checkup. I'll do checkup, know what is wrong with me. If I weather or if my system change, I normally go and do checkup, then know what is wrong with me and give me some drugs to take. That's all.
I take care of myself and my family, my wife, my children. We're okay. When the weather is cold, then we off AC. You understand me? But when it's a bit somehow hot, then we on AC, cover ourselves with duvet. So we enjoy the sleep until NEPA take light. You know the country we are. So me, I like the weather.
Medical practitioners recommend taking precautionary measures such as wearing protective clothes and adjusting lifestyles to prevent illness, particularly protecting vulnerable groups like children, the elderly, and those with chronic conditions. Zahra Unasr, reporting for Global TV. Weather changes.
You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, after this weather forecast, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us.
As we head into Thursday, here's what you need to know. The dust episode will continue, though at a slight intensity, affecting parts of Adamawa, Gombe, Bauchi, Plateau, Nasarawa, and parts of the northwest. Let's talk about the rainfall. During the morning hours, we expect thunderstorms to affect parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and parts of Bayelsa State. While later in the day, especially by late afternoon, we will see a wider spread of thunderstorms extending to southern Ondo, Ogun, Lagos, Bayelsa, Cross River, and River State. And that's the weather outlook. Airline operators are advised to regularly consult the NIMET e-flight folder portal for latest weather updates to support safe and well-planned flight operations.
In business, the Central Bank of Nigeria has urged banks and financial institutions to respond more swiftly to emerging electronic fraud threats. Speaking at the 2026 Nigeria Electronic Fraud Forum in Lagos, Deputy Governor Philip Ikezo warned that scams such as SIM swap fraud and social engineering are growing more sophisticated. He stressed that industry-wide collaboration remains key to safeguarding Nigeria's expanding digital payment system. The World Trade Organization Director General Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala on Wednesday said that Nigeria must actively target global investors and relocating supply chains to create jobs, deepening manufacturing and cutting import dependence. Speaking at the World Economic Forum at Davos, she said geopolitical tensions and diversification away from China offers Nigeria an opportunity if reforms more stabilization to real economic impact. Okonjo-Iweala urged aggressive promotion of Nigeria to investors in sectors such as renewable energy, textile, and pharmaceuticals. Nigeria is set to benefit from a 557 million euros humanitarian aid package announced by the European Union for Africa in 2026. The EU says the funding disclosed at the World Economic Forum in Davos will prioritize Nigeria's Northwest, addressing humanitarian crisis and related challenges. Officials say the aid will be complemented by private sector financing to expand reach and impact. Let's go to the foreign scene now. Guinea-Bissau's military junta has announced December the 6th as the date for presidential and legislative elections. The decree, read by transitional leader General Horta Ntam, comes months after the coup had ousted President Umaru Sissoco Emblalo and halted the electoral process. ECOWAS leaders have welcomed the announcement, urging a transparent transition and release of detained political opponents. United States President Donald J. Trump says his administration has developed a framework of a future deal on Greenland following talks with NATO leaders. Hissing earlier threats to impose tariff on European allies opposed to any U.S. acquisition of the territory. Writing on Truth Social after meetings with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Trump said discussions were very productive and positive and could cover broader Arctic security and mineral rights, though he ruled out the use of military force. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen welcomed the softer tone, saying the dialogue would continue to address U.S. security concerns while respecting Denmark's sovereignty. As diplomatic sources confirm, no agreement on American ownership of Greenland has been reached at the moment. California's Governor Gavin Newsom has urged European leaders to stop appeasing United States President Donald Trump, saying the president's tariff threats on Greenland are absurd. Speaking on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Newsom decried Europeans for what he called their complicity in failing to stand up to Donald Trump's demands that he will be allowed to buy or annex Greenland. Uyi Agwomofwegbe completes this report.
Newsom, a front-runner among Democratic candidates for president in 2028, told reporters at the World Economic Forum in Davos that Europeans were being played by Trump and that their efforts to negotiate with him are not diplomacy but sheer naivety. He has challenged Europe to avoid being seen as weak by the Trump administration.
He's insulting you, your country, European allies. What he's promoting is madness in Greenland, these tariffs. He can't take Greenland by military force. He could, but it's so overwhelmingly opposed in the United States, he's in a bit of a pickle. And so the European Union should hit him in the face and push back very aggressively. Fight fire with fire. Trump is weak. He's weakness masquerading as strength.
European leaders have been hesitant to risk an open rupture in ties with the U.S., which is a major trading partner and on which Europe relies for much of its security. A number of European leaders have vied for the role of Trump whisperer as they have sought to prevent him from withdrawing support for Ukraine or pulling out of NATO. However, Trump's demands that he be allowed to take over Greenland, which is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, and his threat to tariff European governments until the territory is given to him, have elicited confusion, anger, and proposals to retaliate by levying Europe's own tariffs against the United States. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, the Confederation of African Football has fined the Algerian Football Federation $100,000 and suspended two Algerian players for over misconduct following Algeria's quarter-final defeat to Nigeria at the African Cup of Nations. Goalkeeper Lucas Zidane was banned for 2 matches, while defender Rafik Belgali received a 4-match suspension for their roles in post-match disturbances that broke out after Nigeria's 2-0 victory on Wednesday. CAF says the sanction also covered security lapses, including attempts by fans to invert the pitch and inappropriate gestures towards match officials, though the Algerian FA has announced plans to appeal the decision. Harry Kane scored twice to fire Bayern Munich into the UEFA Champions League final round of 16 with a 2-0 win over Union Saint-Gilloise on Wednesday night. Despite the German champion finishing the match with 10 men, Liverpool, Newcastle United and Chelsea also recorded victories, with Liverpool beating Marseille 3-0. Newcastle dispatching PSV Eindhoven 3-0 at St. James Park, and Chelsea edging Pafos 1-0 in London. Elsewhere, Barcelona beat Slavia Prague 4-2. Juventus defeated Benfica 2-0, while Karabakh pulled off a shock 3-2 win over Frankfurt in a dramatic night of European football. Nigeria's senior men's handball team, the Golden Arrow, began their campaign at the 27th African Men's Handball National Cup on a winning note with a hard-fought 25-23 victory over Algeria in their opening Group A match in Kigali, Rwanda. The encounter played at the Pate Sante saw Nigeria take early control and head into the break with 16 goals to 13, first half advantage thanks to a disciplined defensive display and efficient finishing in attack. Algeria mounted a strong fight back after a restart, closing the gap and testing Nigeria's resolve. But the Golden Arrows held firm in the closing minute to secure a deserved 2 points at the end of regulation time. And that's it on Midday News. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Ubong Osoro. Thanks for watching.